Welcome to the Planet Pearl video tutorial, knitting on 2 circular needles. Our supplies, yarn, and 2 sets of circular needles. So we're going to start out by casting on, and I've cast on about 30 stitches, which would normally be way too many or too few stitches to actually get around to knit on a singular circular needle. So this is why knitting on 2 circular needles is so great. So first we're going to move half of our stitches without twisting them. We're just going to move half of our stitches to our second circular needle. And if you're used to knitting in the round on double pointed needles, you know we normally cast on all on one needle and then divide the stitches around the needles. We're doing the same thing here, or attempting to. We're just slipping the stitches to the second circular needle. It doesn't matter if you go through the front or back, just so that you're not twisting. And then the easiest way to make sure you're not twisting up your knitting is to just turn all of the little cast on bumps to the inside. So this is the part that you really just don't think about because it shouldn't work, but it does. So we want to push all the stitches so that the working yarn end from that last cast on will be in your right hand at the top stitch, right? Because you're just going to continue, you're going to work in a circle just like you would if you were doing it all on one needle. With the exception of you can start with 4 stitches and actually work in the round without using the double pointed needles. So we're going to just slide the stitches up onto the needle. And there's our working yarn. It's in the right hand. We're going to knit that first stitch off the second pair, the bamboo needles. And this is the trick. You always use the bamboo with the bamboo. Well, I'm going to refer to them instead of needle 1 and needle 2. I use 2 different kinds so I can always keep track of what I'm knitting with. But you will always knit the bamboo tip with the bamboo tip and the plastic tip with the plastic tip. So once you get that first stitch done, you just pull the needle out of the way and let the stitches sit there. And they're just going to hang out there on the cable until you're ready to knit them. Of course, it helps if your cables are sitting flat, which is why I don't usually use this kind of needle. But so now that we have our first stitch done, we're just going to continue to work the rest of the stitches on that bamboo needle. Just as if we were working on a straight needle, double pointed needles, or a single circular needle. So we get to the end, and now we're ready to work the rest of the stitches of our circle. So we are going to push our stitches back up by pulling, because now we're going to work on that gray needle, the plastic needle. We're going to pull the stitches up, which is much easier if you're not working on such a huge needle with a skinny cable. But we're going to work this first stitch. We're going to use the gray needle to work the stitches on the gray needle. So I'll just use the other end. And just like we did the first time, we're going to go into the first stitch. We're going to pull the yarn around just as if we were normally knitting. And then we're going to knit in. And you can pull that other needle out at any point and get it out of your way, which I think I'll probably do shortly when I just realize that it's stuck up there. And we're just going to knit the stitches on the gray needle. Right, and there we'll just pull that out and just let the stitches hang. All right, so here we come to the end. Now this is going to be the end of our first round, right? We will have worked both needles now. Our working yarn is at the top of the right hand needle, so we need to work the stitches on the left, which will be on this one, the bamboo needle. So we're going to slide the stitches up, being careful not to twist the work. I find it easier just to keep all of the bumps at the bottom. And once you get a little more fabric on here, it's easier to make sure that you're not twisting. And then, since we're working on the bamboo needle, we use the other bamboo tip. Pull the plastic needle out of the way. And we'll just knit all the stitches on the bamboo needle with the other bamboo tip. So just like magic, here's the end of the row. You can see we're creating our little tube of fabric here. So now it's time to work the plastic needle. With, of course, the plastic tip. So we're just going to knit that first stitch and pull the needle out of the way. Let the stitches dangle there for a bit. And here we are at the end of this row. So just like when you're normally knitting in the round, you do have that kind of one stitch at the bottom at where they come together, where you need to go back when you finish up and join it. But here we are. We're a few rows in, so you can see now how it's easy to tell whether you're twisting your fabric or not. And we're working a tiny tube on 2 circular needles. And poor Chelsea looks like someone cut her hair with a circular saw. Come visit us soon at planetpurl.com.